TLO, what's pop? We are on kick.com. We are not live, but you can leave a like, comment, subscribe. Turn on your post notification bells. Let's continue to grow the family from Chicago to the UK, man. Right above me, if we do go live and you happen to miss it, this is where any highlights and things of that nature will be located for now. Don't forget, we do got merch, man. You get me. And we also got a Patreon. We post 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, man. Don't forget, if you want to get in tune with any of that, down in the description, hit more, click something that says Linktree. Everything about me will pop up. But this is Vice. Football's most dangerous rivalry. This is one I've had in my watch later for a long time, so we finally getting to it, man. Rangers, Celtics.
There's a guy lying in bed, a Catholic Celtic fan in that, right? He's lying in bed, he's total died, last legs in that.
Okay, wait a minute, let me move because I'm clearly going to need these.
Right? They're like, oh, his family around and that, it's like, any last requests? Obviously what's happened, the guy's like, aye, I want to become a proddy. And I'm like that, a thing like that? What? Excuse me? What? They're like, honestly, oh no, that's really what I want to do. So they get a minister in, the minister comes in, converts him to a Protestant, a Rangers fan and that, and the thing like that. Dad, why would you want to do that? Because see if I die, that's one less proddy bastard to worry about.
In late winter...
Oh, man. That was comedy. It's all in the fun of it's jokes. Trying to fix my shirt.
2011, I travelled north from London to Glasgow to get an up-to-date look at one of the oldest rivalries in world football. The sectarian divide that splits Rangers and Celtic has its roots in things that happened across the Irish Sea centuries ago. Today, the hatred is just as strong and continues to split the city in two.
I definitely think people do see themselves in a context of Old Firm as either green or blue, Catholic, Protestant, British or Irish.
I think at the end of the day, though, there is a sort of mutual respect for each other's fans.
So what do you think of Rangers fans?
Scumbags.
That did not age well. Rangers versus Celtics, huh? Okay.
Celtic fans, I think they're crass, disrespectful, and definitely Irish.
Did he have teeth? Go back.
Celtic fans, I think they're crass, disrespectful, and definitely Irish.
I fucking hate Rangers.
Rangers fans they don't know who they are. They get brought up to hate.
The kind of lunacy that you get with Celtic, why you would seek out, the company of people who are mentally disturbed has always been a bit of a mystery to me.
I bumped into a Celtic fan with one shoe on. I went, "You've lost one shoe, you stupid cunt." He went, "No, I've not, I found one."
So he was walking around shoeless, and then he found his shoe and put it. That's tough.
The songs I've heard sung at football matches in the last 2 seasons that have no place in Belfast in the 21st century, never mind Glasgow.
Follow, we will follow Rangers. Anywhere, everywhere, we will follow on. Dundee, Hamilton, fuck the boat in the water gun. If they go to Dublin, we will follow on.
Thumbnail.
Living in England gives you a very black and white impression of the old firm. If the cliches about Celtic fans are true, they're all Pope-obsessed IRA gun runners. And if you're a Rangers fan, you're probably a right-wing Protestant who only smiles when you think of the Queen. Of course, these cliches don't tell the whole story. This is a complicated hatred, but one thing both sides seem to agree on is that they should be allowed to hate. The Scottish Parliament feels differently and has just passed a new bill aiming to make songs about Huns and Fenians a thing of the past. In Glasgow, there were murmurings of money problems at Rangers that threatened to make the old firm
It was getting that bad, the songs?
itself a thing of the past. But on my first visit to the city, it was time to get a tour. I met Joe Miller, founder of Celtic fanzine Not The View.
This is a traditional route that Celtic fans will walk up to Celtic Park. This is called the Gallagate. It's a very kind of strong Celtic area. This used to be massive Irish community here. Celtic Park, paradise we call it.
After watching Celtic fans bond with the players, we headed over to Rangers' home, Ibrox, in the west of the city.
This area here is Bridgeton. This is where my father's from, in fact, and it's a massive Rangers there.
Before we get too much further into this, man, let me know. Are either one of these teams doing anything right now? Or in the last 2-3 seasons? Just a question.
Area.
Did you ever hang out here?
Oh no. God no.
No offense,
Glasgow,
just a question.
You walk into a pub, anything can happen, you know. It's just the nature of this city is very hard. I got a kicking once going to Ibrox. I got a sore one right between the legs. This is Paisley Road West.
Somebody kicked
just
you in
hold
the...
your breath here, guys. It's coming up to Ibrox. You'll probably smell it.
Have you got a name for Ibrox?
Oh, yeah. Castle Grayskull, the Hunnery, Ship Pit.
At Ibrox, we found our first proof that the rivalry extends beyond Scotland's borders. It came in the form of a friendly German football bigot. When did you first start liking Rangers?
First game was in '86.
Okay. What do you think of Celtic?
Oh, Fenian bastards. Shouldn't say that on camera. You just shamed the whole of Germany.
The next day, we went to meet a man named Mark Dingwall, who runs Rangers fanzine Follow.
Obviously, because of the background, it means more to more people, I think, than some of the rivalries that you would get down south. But it's not really quite as serious, I think, as it's often portrayed in documentaries, where, because of the religious side of things, they try to make it out as though Glasgow is a sectarian hotbed.
Yeah.
I think that's a myth.
Maybe Dingwall's right, and the idea of Glasgow as a furnace of sectarian hatred is a false one. But pretty much every flag we saw for sale on matchday referenced the old troubles in Ireland.
Well, it's about their culture. I mean, if you look at the links between Scotland and Ireland, we've had, over the last 200-300 years, we've probably had about 1 million people immigrating to Scotland from Ireland and vice versa. So you do have this culture. My view would be that a lot of the media and a lot of the political class, they only want to concentrate on what they would perceive as violence and bigotry. They don't actually want to look at the positive aspects of that, or in fact the historical reality.
What do you think of this phrase, 90-minute bigot?
I think it fairly well sums up what happens at Old Firm games. This is the release valve for mainly working class people at the end of the week, because they go to the football, they can say what they want, do what they want, have a drink, have a laugh, be loud and boorish in a way that they aren't during the rest of the week.
The next day, I jumped on the train north to Dundee to meet Joe Miller and some of Celtic's loyal away support.
It wouldn't bother me the more if they went first, and it was a big Tesco earlier. I would gladly shop in it.
It is a kind of religion to folk. It is, because you turn out every week. Glasgow's got a strong Irish community, but we couldn't express yourself in the community. There's no St Patrick's Day parades or celebrations. A woman once said to me, and she goes, "Are you one of those Fenians?" You know, and I was actually taken aback. You know, she labelled me a Fenian, and that basically.
Was it a girl that you were trying to crack onto, or an old woman in the shops? Or...
It was an older woman. Yeah. No, I was still trying to crack her as well. Yeah. That label was right away was, I'm a Celtic fan, I'm a Catholic, I'm an Irish Republican. Now these are all the labels that are tied in with that. Yeah. And I might not have been any of them other than a Celtic fan.
Celtic fans, there is this.
So what I'm getting in that right now is way more than football attached to these two things. It's a history. just like with any other teams in the UK, when we bring up soccer and, my bad, not soccer, football.
Cult of victimhood.
It's deep.
On the one hand, then the other hand, you know, they want to be the tough guys. They want to support the IRA and push people around. I would say that Celtic in the last 5 to 10 years are probably more Catholic, more Irish, and more Republican.
Do you think that Rangers fans and Celtic fans are sort of inherently different people? Maybe because of their upbringing, or...?
We're more open, I think. When the Rangers fans go abroad, they go on the rampage. When we go abroad, we're probably up singing and dancing and having more fun and making friends.
Do you have friends that are Rangers fans?
Acquaintances.
Yeah.
I have acquaintances that would be nominal Celtic fans, but you know, general delusions about persecution, about being a member of the IRA, about claiming that your grandfather fought in the General Post Office against the British, that your granny was raped by the Black and Tans. I mean, this is not really the type of people that, you know, you want to associate with.
We saw a sticker up at Ibrox, just had a picture of the Union Jack and said, "Love it or leave it."
Yeah. Yeah, well, we're told to go back. Their famous shout is, "The famine's over. Why don't you go home?" I'm Scottish. I live here. I like this country.
Do you think the bill will help?
The bill won't help that, because it's just attacking football fans. It's a culture out there that has to be changed.
Celtic! Come on, you boys and green! Come on, you boys and green! Glasgow's green and white! Glasgow's green and white! Glasgow's green and white! Glasgow's green and white! Whoa! Whoa! Celtic! Celtic!
I'm not even gonna lie. Like, me looking from the outside in, it looks like a great time. You know what I'm saying? I'm also not there to deal with the past history and the future history and any trauma that's going on, but, you know, just going to the game looked like a ball to me.
Recording
even in a bar.
Crappy footage on my phone, I made my way into the ground where Celtics fans were going through their repertoire. They didn't seem too worried about falling foul of the anti-sectarian bill.
I'm not gonna bop my head to this because I don't know what's being said. I can't hear it clearly or anything. But now I don't promote negativity, but let's get negative.
I'd made an appointment to see Nil by Mouth, a charity based in Glasgow that wants to eradicate sectarianism from Scottish life. It was set up after a 15-year-old Celtic fan died after having his throat cut on the way home from a match.
I came to university in Scotland in 1999 and I went to watch...
Wait a minute, when did that happen? What's going on?
An old firm.
It's never that deep.
Football game in the student union's bar, and I heard this shocking taunt, which was 6 million Jews and it should have been Protestants. How many layers of ignorance do you have to get through to come out with that type of...
I know they didn't say that. I know that wasn't no chant, was it? My.
Stuff. People have often put to me the idea that in Scotland we have 90-minute bigots.
Yeah.
Now, you know that kind of idea. For 90 minutes we go, we watch football, we taunt the other sides, we use these kind of words, and then we go back to our kind of life. Now I'll put it to you in this kind of context. If I use the term nigger to you, you'd find that...
Let me hear the point you're trying to...
quite offensive. Now I'll put it to you in this kind of context. If I use the term nigger to you, you'd find that quite offensive, and quite rightly, because it's a disgusting term. Does that make you a 90-minute racist? Does it really? You know, we all have to have laws and we have to have kind of boundaries as what is acceptable behaviour and what is not. And if you don't have that, then it's a bit of a free-for-all.
I swear he could have just said, now if I use the N-word with a hard ER, then you could have just said that. You said that too comfortably, like you've been here before. I don't know now.
They'll do what they want as and when they want.
This is Abdul Rafiq, a Muslim Rangers fan who's banned from football matches for 5 years for singing anti-Catholic songs.
So how was the sort of banning order affected like your ritual? So I imagine it must have been a pretty big part of your life before.
Yeah, I used to go to all the Rangers matches, but now to suddenly not be allowed to go to matches, it's had a big effect on me, you know.
Yeah.
And I just don't think you know, the punishment fits the crime. It's just for singing songs, you know.
Yeah.
I was just singing like the follow songs, but there was some added on words where you're not supposed to sing.
Okay. What were they like?
Like the Dundee Hamilton after Pope in the Watercan, you know, that one.
The banning orders made Abdul a pretty famous guy. He's well known both in the streets of Glasgow and on the internet.
For I do like to be beside the seaside, and I do like to be beside the sea, with a hammer in my hand, Fenian bashing on the sand beside the seaside, beside the sea.
I've got friends that are Celtic fans, so it's only a game, it's only a bit of banter. And I've got to sign in at a police station in the first half of every Rangers game for the next 5 years. Okay. So I'm on my way just now.
Abdul's also famous for being the only Muslim member of right-wing nationalist group, the English Defence League.
If you're born in Britain, then it's natural to like your country. The flag of my country is red, white and blue and red.
This guy is comical almost.
Just playing that colours. I don't go to the mosque to pray 5 times a day or anything, but I'll still like be a good person, you know. Yeah. That's being religious as well. I'm a good person, I'm good to accept everybody, so that's being religious. So I would say I'm a religious in a way.
Okay. Do you think you get picked on because Rangers is, you know, traditionally a very Protestant club?
Well, because of my connection with the EDL and the SDL, and then the police recognise me, so I do get picked on by the police, you know. That day I got arrested at a football match, and obviously I was recognised, you know. Yeah. And it was a high-profile match because we were playing Chelsea, and the Chelsea fans were there chanting my name.
Really?
Yeah.
What were they singing?
They were just chanting Abdul EDL. I have had a few racist remarks from Rangers fans, just a few, but you're always going to expect a few anyway.
As Abdul lapped up the attention outside Ibrox, keeping the rain off his head with his Union Jack umbrella, I couldn't come to think of him as a spiteful guy. It just seemed like he wanted to be part of something, even if that something had turned him into a football bigot who hangs out with fascists.
What is it that you identify with EDL?
Well, the EDL are against extremism. They're against all sorts of extremism. They're not against just Muslims, they're against all, even the Catholics, IRA and that. And I'm born and bred in Britain and I love my country, so I'm against any sort of extremism, you know. And they're open to anybody, they're not racist and that.
Do you not buy the argument that they are themselves racist people, the EDL?
But if they were racist, they wouldn't have me with them.
Do you think they might be saying one thing and doing another, trying to hide maybe the fact that they are racist by,
well,
you know...
They're asking me to bring more Muslims to join.
Yeah, it's like that when you get into that argument all the time, and then that person be like, man, well, I got that type of friend, or I got this type of friend, so I can't be racist. You know what I'm saying? I got this type of members. We got that type of members. We can't be... And I don't know the full extent of the story about the EDL. So I know enough, but I'm not saying nothing about nothing. I'm just saying.
Join up.
Okay.
And when we're walking down the street, they don't shout abuse at
I'm
Muslims.
saying that the point that he is trying to make is what I just said.
They actually say to them, come and join us.
Yeah.
Yo, Cuff, how's it going?
All right.
You banned for stop on Ibrox?
Aye.
Are you?
I'm back with EDL, but I think he was from EDL.
Don't let them video you.
No, it's all right. They're not going against it. All right.
Fucking put it against you.
No, it's all right.
Abdul's mates didn't seem to like our cameras all that much, so to avoid a beating, we went elsewhere.
How does it make you feel when you see?
Well, when you see that, you know, it makes me look out to be as if I'm a Catholic hater or something. But that's not the case, you know, because I just think that as banter.
Certain things is just not banter, though. You know what I'm saying? Certain people can banter this way, and other people cannot banter this way. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, I don't know. That's why, if you was just watching, like, he was watching his back 24/7. That's the life you want to live? They're going to get on you.
Another notorious Rangers celebrity who's against the bill is Sandy Chugg. Sandy was one of the stars of the Scottish football violence scene of the 80s and 90s. He led Rangers' terrifying intercity firm into battle many times.
As much as I dislike Celtic songs, the IRA songs and that, I will defend our rights to sing them. The product's not great, the crowds are dwindling, and they want to lock up people for trying to provide a wee bit of atmosphere at football.
Finish! Well done, good. Keep it going.
As far as we know, Sandy isn't a hooligan anymore. Instead, he spends his time here, training kids at this school in Glasgow's East End.
Come on, Lohan, wrap your feet round it, come on.
I started playing about 8-year-old, then was picked up with Rangers at under 14 level, spent 2 years there. Unfortunately, wasn't good enough to make the grade. Other things in my life at the time as well, the casual scene.
Yeah.
I was thinking it was a lot better football casual than what I was a football player.
Yeah.
So that's sort of a sidetrack.
Do you regret that at all?
No, I liked, see, to be honest, I loved the scene. It was the biggest youth culture explosion, in my opinion, since the mods. Boys from Yeovil to Inverness were involved in fighting each other, fighting the law. To be part of that, looking back, although I wouldn't say it makes me proud, I'm sort of glad that I was involved in it. I was lost to the rave generation for about 2 or 3.
So he was at the 14 level playing for the Celtics or whatever. But he felt that he wasn't good enough. So he became a casual. Mans is picking casual hooliganism over actually playing. It was that deep. Like, all you had to do is sit back and train a little bit harder and you would have had it. Because you was in the door.
3 years. That was the next new wave of youth culture. It led me to 3 years in prison for dealing in LSD and ecstasy. That's my major regret in life. My one ambition was to be a Royal Marine and blew that out of the water.
He sounds just like like one of them in-jail drill rappers. You know, because most of them started there. They was good at football. Then the block got them. And then they started rapping. And then they blew that and now they in jail. Like, that's tough.
I want to prove to the parents that despite my past, I'm the best person to coach your kid.
Even though a minority have complained about Sandy's past to the school, he didn't seem too worried about reliving it in front of the parents and their kids. When you see your picture next to words like scum and thugs and, you know, wrecking the good name of the Tartan Army, I mean, how did that make you feel?
In a strange way, I was slightly proud to be recognised. But when I look back, and I'm looking back on a lot of stuff here, I'm kind of saying, nah, it wasn't really one of your cleverest moments in your life. No, it wasn't really one of your cleverest moments in your life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's something to look back on. It's maybe some people have maybe photo albums.
Yeah. I mean, was football violence an addiction for you, do you think?
Oh, most certainly.
Yeah.
Without a doubt, no matter how hard I tried to walk away, I always seem to get dragged back in. A lot of people like the camaraderie. I like the violence, I'll be honest. I'm not going to beat about the bush, I like the violence.
Like, however you want to phrase it, I always said hooliganism was very similar to gang culture. That camaraderie, that brotherhood, that togetherness they feel, the ops they coming around, but they had football games. Every game they was spinning the stadium. It's very similar. I don't care what nobody say, man. My opinion.
So what for you is the biggest misconception that people have about the Glasgow football rivalry?
I think the biggest misconception is that it is primarily a religious aspect. In my own personal opinion, I believe it's now turning into a national identity.
Okay.
It's Scottish, British, or you're Irish.
That guy going mad with a bin is Sandy's old
Where did they just get the stools from?
sparring partner, John O'Kane. John was one of the founding fathers of the Celtic soccer crew firm. His life with the Casuals saw him up before the judge 66 times. I'd arranged to meet him in a pub across town. Was there, when you were fighting, more that kind of unwritten, unspoken code?
After the Scotland game, we had a fight with Partick Thistle, and there was a few of them on the ground after it, and the rest of them had run away, and we've got them up, made sure the guy's okay, and things like that. You know, you're right, mate. Like, all your mates have fucked off and left you. Just make sure you're okay. It's an unwritten sort of rule. I think
that is phenomenal, Cap. I don't believe it. I've seen too many documentaries, seen too many movies. That's Cap. Y'all was beaten and gone.
It's a fight.
Does that mutual respect extend to Rangers fans?
No, certainly not. Because I've been stabbed, like ear cut off by Rangers and things like slashed so many times. Like, they actually threw one of our boys off a bridge near Rivalry Stadium onto the M8 motorway.
The big guys with him were from Shebeen, Glasgow's premier.
So, okay, maybe with other firms they was doing that. Get up, here you go. Well, with the main rivals, they was trying to get everything back in blood because blood was already spilled. It's a long historic thing between the two, so ain't no get back. Ain't no peace treaties. That's what it sounds like.
Republican band and lifelong Celtic fans.
I am for green fields. Each one was a jewel.
Now Weymouth is the worst. They don't live in the real world. Celtic singing the Fields Are For Now and them singing the famine song.
Yeah.
Who cares? Who really cares about it? It's a bit of banter.
And my four green fields.
I hear what y'all saying, but imagine me coming from America. I'm an adamant Rangers fan. Or a Celtics fan, and I get to singing them songs without knowing the real history and truth behind what's going on, just singing them. Y'all stop, don't lie to yourself. You'll be looking at me some type of way like, what is Black American buddy talking about? You can't sing them songs and call it banter. Like, no way.
Red with their blood. Said she.
Do you feel like Shebeen might be under threat from the bill?
Well, if they come in and arrest me or Alan for singing songs of Ireland, and then I'm a political prisoner, in my view.
Satanism is divisive. Republicanism is about unity.
And my four green fields will bloom once again, said she. It's a wrap. All right. All right.
We had already met Celtic.
Time to go to the other side. Time to get their input.
Men in pubs. Now it was time to meet Rangers men in pubs. And they were all men. I've never seen so many tough-looking guys as those that poured out of Ibrox subway station on matchday. Most of them called in at the Loudon bar en route to the ground.
There's a guy over there just being led away by police, and I think he's one of the two guys that came up to us just now outside the Loudon bar, started harassing us. They didn't like the camera or my accent very much. Called me an English wanker, which is difficult to deny. Then his mate came over and started shoving me and grabbing the camera stuff and kicked me. So yeah, I guess he's been having a bit more fun inside the stadium as well.
You almost got beat up out here, bro.
Just ring the bell on the big flag and tell and the big all the colours can see.
I think 99% of the Rangers and the Celtic fans are well behaved. I think they get a bad press because it suits the politicians.
Yes, they play and they play all the time. Up and spend the last night.
I've no animosity towards anyone, including Celtic fans. I'm not a lover of their club. I think their club is corrupt and always has been since the day it was formed. But, I mean, that's only my opinion. I'm allowed it. I'm Scottish and I'm proud to be Scottish. I'm not born in Glasgow and some sort of pseudo-Irishman. I don't know where they get that from.
Step up and praise the machines sing to say as I walk round the mountain and be. Just ring a bell on the big flag and tell and the big all the colours can see. And music play.
The Rangers fans we'd met had been disappointed that so far we'd only been shown around the city by a Celtic fan. So they told us to seek out Dark Horse. Rangers fan, cab driver, raconteur.
She says to the next dope driver, I said, what first? I need a toilet. She said, can I stop the motorway? I said, the garage about a couple of mile up. She says, no, you need to stop. She said, if you don't stop, I'll piss your seat. I told her I'd punch her cunt in, that's what I said to her. So she didn't piss the seat. I've took a lot of people like to the hospital after the Rangers Celtic game, after the derbies. It's a pretty bad sight, you know. Yeah. Mostly slashings, bottles, knives, mostly. The last Rangers game, I picked up two fellas in the town and they were telling us they were up with their kids and two Celtic fans that attacked the father in front of the kid. That was the last Rangers Celtic game. So there you go.
That's crazy.
Only because they're English.
On Derby Day, Glasgow was...
I'm gonna get a jersey from both teams, cut them in half, and then stitch them together. Let's promote unity out here.
buzzing, and pubs were rammed with both sets of supporters. These fans had travelled all the way from the Falls Road in Belfast to watch the Crunch match at Celtic Park. One man who wouldn't be attending the match, however, was Abdul Rafiq, whose anti-Pope banter earned him a banning order.
Can you remember your first Derby Day memories?
That's going back about 30 years.
Yeah.
At that time you were able to sing what you wanted. There used to be much more trouble at that time, there was more singing.
Do you prefer that kind of more resentful atmosphere?
Yeah, definitely, because the atmosphere is what makes that. It's the biggest club match in the world, and what makes it special is the atmosphere. But it's just a game, and to me it's a bit of banter.
Stick your right hand out and you punch a take about. You kneecap the bastard when you get him down. That's what it's all about.
I've found some examples of anti-Celtic, anti-Catholic
yeah.
stuff. Is it okay if I show you?
Yeah.
You can tell me whether they're banter or not, or whether they cross the line. Jungle Boys against reporting paedophiles. So that's alleging that, you know, Celtic fans are all part of some big Catholic paedophile ring. Is that too far, or is that banter?
I'll just put that down in banter.
Yeah.
Put that in banter.
Just banter. Another sweeping child abuse under the carpet since 1972.
I'll just put that in banter.
How about that?
Banter.
A Celtic fan making a monkey sign at El Hadj Diouf.
That's crossing the line. Don't be delusional.
Well, some people will take that serious, but other people just look at that as banter, you know.
Okay, so that's 50-50. That's on the line.
50-50.
Nah, that's crossed the line.
There's a fan attacking Neil Lennon.
Well, that's obviously gone too far, because he should never have come on the pitch to attack, you know. I know a lot of Rangers fans don't like Neil Lennon, but I've met Neil Lennon myself, and he said he doesn't mind all the abuse he gets, but he doesn't like it when somebody comes to attack him out on the street or whatever.
Celtic will get fucked up the arse like what those Catholic priests did to little kids. Hashtag paedophiles.
Just banter.
Yeah,
just saying
it's child abuse. So I don't know. Is that?
That's crossing the line.
Bantometer.
The only bit I see over the line there was when Neil Lennon's getting attacked. When they're actually violence, when they're fighting each other, that's when it's over the line. But when they're just singing and taunting one another, I don't see why the police should bother moving in. Let them have their fun.
Looking for some of that fun that Abdul mentioned, we headed down the Gallagate to the Barrows, the Celtic stronghold in the east of Glasgow.
Calling somebody a PEDO is different from giving an example of their PDOism when they're really not. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, I don't know what's real and what's not here, but in my book is what I said.
There, we ran into ardent Celtic fan Johnny and talked to him about Derby Day in the city.
So the Rangers fans are just not talking. Because this has all been all Celtic.
So we're in the Barrows on the day of the match.
Except, what's his buddy?
What's it?
Abdul, what was his name?
Do you like around here on match day, on Derby Day specifically?
Today I'll be busy, very early. There'll be a lot of Celtic fans congregate early, a few beers. Obviously just excited about the game ahead. It's an area predominantly with all Celtic fans, Republicans, you name it.
Is that kind of safety that you get here, knowing that you can drink in these with Celtic colours on, does that change on Derby Day? Will there be Rangers lads up here later looking for a fight?
There's every chance. But I can't remember in the last few years anyway that I've drank here that any Ranger fans or loyalists have came down here and they achieved that. Even came down here, the last thing was a wee story we spoke about the last time we met, which was nothing to do with Rangers, may I add. It was just another bunch of right-wing fascists that thought they would come down here and start their nonsense, and they just got a kick up the backside and sent him.
So what happens if the Rangers fans do come up here later and they're looking for a fight and the word gets around?
Well, this is the difference. I mean, looking for a fight's one thing. A Rangers fan walking down here just with a Rangers top on, nothing would happen. Even they get dragged off the streets and brutally butchered in the middle of an alleyway. I'm sure the vast majority of Rangers fans would just like to stay in Rangers pubs, listen to music that celebrate their culture.
Man just said a Rangers fan walking down the street. First of all, I don't believe you. Now you capping for the camera. If a Rangers fan was to walk down this Celtic-y street, somebody, there would be one person, whether you like to admit it or not. This might not even be for the masses. The masses might not, but there'll be one person to be like, oh, let's get them. Like, there'll be that one person for sure.
And whatnot, as opposed to coming down here looking for trouble.
Is it good conditions for a fight today, with the wind howling and the rain lashing down?
Excellent conditions.
Oh Father, why are you so sad on this bright Easter morn, when Irishmen are proud and glad?
We will not be showing the Old Firm game tonight. Sorry for any inconvenience. Dang.
When Irishmen are proud and glad of the land that they were born.
Alright, Sandy. How you doing, mate? You alright?
Yeah, sound.
Good.
Sound.
How you feeling today?
Nervous.
Yeah.
That's been 3-4 days, the anticipation, so just can't wait to get it on.
I read in your book about, was it Mr. Blue when he stormed the Gallagate? Were you there then?
Yeah. Well, basically, we used to meet in a pub called Minstrels down at the waterfront, and
pub called Minstrels is crazy. Hey man, the way they be talking about this, like it be seeming like, I already said this, but like it be seeming like Spartan 300, like the wars back then, like we storming the Gallagate, like this is a football field we talking about, ain't it?
Somebody came up with a bright idea one day, when we'll go up the Gallagate. Now anybody that knows the Gallagate knows it's probably the most no-go area for Rangers fans. 40 of us decided to go up one day, 40 turned into 20. All the Celtic pubs emptied, their Celtic casuals came out, your John O'Kane's and that. He was, again, John as usual was quickly putting his backside, but it was pandemonium.
Do you think there'll be anything like that today?
For any young boy who want to get involved in football violence these days, I kind of shake my head and with a wry smile, knowing like the surveillance techniques and that they're up against. It's not like you can go and have a row in the middle of the city centre now. And if you do that, you're in camera, you're getting your door booted in 6 weeks later, and you're looking at.
Yeah, there's no way. CCTV and the advancements of facial recognition, they gonna find you. Oh yeah, you getting caught out here now. Then.
A year, 2 year prison.
So you mentioned John O'Kane.
I mean, I've got a lot of respect for John as a boy, because he's a game lad. He may get put in his arse a lot, but he gets up every time and wants to have another go at you. So hats off to him for that, you know what I mean?
So whereabouts are we now? Whereabouts in Glasgow?
This is Broomall or Quay Street. It was always a good place for having a battle because of the one-way system it used to be. It's easy to get away from police.
The Battle of Clyde Street.
Have you yourself been caught up in any trouble around this area?
Well, because I lost my life one night here after a Celtic Rangers game. Just about those traffic lights there, that's where the Rangers mob have lined up, and we've lined up here, and we've charged into each other. As I've charged in, as a can of CS gas, it sprayed it, but there was none left. In front of me was a guy brandishing a knife, so as I turned, he's got me at the top of the leg, and I staggered along the road, fell in a heap. My legs were, my trousers were crimson.
This is John?
Basically, and my mates had stopped a taxi. The taxi driver had actually stopped and dragged me in. I was like, what's wrong, panicking? And he took me to the hospital. If I hadn't taken me to the hospital, I'd burst a major artery, and I'd touch wood, I wouldn't probably be here if it wasn't for the taxi driver's quick actions.
Yeah.
But again, a scary thing.
Do you find that the trouble nowadays is more chaotic and less organised than it used to be?
When it comes to Celtic Rangers games, there seems to be more sporadic violence where you've just got groups of Rangers and Celtic fans just want to have a go at each other.
So even now it's still going on like this? I gotta get me to one of these games. Celtics versus Rangers, I gotta go.
With kick-off fast approaching, we travel to Denny, 20 miles outside of Glasgow, where some excited Celtic fans had hired a lodge for a pre-match piss-up and a sing-song.
It's the most active he's been all week, man. Salute, man. Whatever it takes. You outside with it today.
Only one show in town tonight. It's been bubbling up for 4 or 5 weeks, and this is what it's all about.
Like, remember that sign we just saw with the bar that said they wasn't showing the game? That's a stupid business move. I ain't even gonna lie. Like, I'm showing the game. I'm getting every bit of this little beer money that y'all want to spend. What?
Getting the Huns in their own back gearing, giving them a good scene.
Have you got many mates that are Rangers fans?
No really, no.
No? You keep it at arm's length?
Aye, further than that.
As you know, we hate the Rangers.
So I gotta pay attention to what they singing because some of it I can bop my head, some of it I can't. I'm not participating.
Absolutely hate them. So just come in, a few drinks, listen to their banter, kennelled up, and off to the
Come on, you boys in green.
I think a Rangers fan, he basically think a guy about 18 stone with a big handlebar moustache, with a greasy hair. He hadn't been washed for about 2 or 3 weeks, and I don't know if he's familiar with the Orange Walk, but he'd be the boy banging the big drum.
See like Rangers pubs and that, they've only got a capacity of 25 because they're that big. Can't get in, you know what I mean? They enjoy a lunch. Do you know the difference between an apple and an orange? Can I get an apple bastard?
Ain't that Liverpool's slogan? Hold on now.
Usually when you're in the jungle, the mighty jungle at Parkhead, you know, well, if it wasn't somebody chucking a ball at your feet, it was somebody pissing on your leg, eh?
Yeah.
But as long as you win, who cares?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So that's to protect you from
That's correct, for the balls,
down.
but there's fuck all to protect you from something pushing on your leg.
So the local area, your head's intact but your legs are full of fists.
Right.
Yeah.
As long as your head's intact, you know what I mean?
Make sure you ain't got no cuts in your leg because somebody peeing your cut. That's crazy.
Up that fucking rock.
Come on!
I'm a fucking rock! I say now!
Submission.
Yeah, good. Best of luck for the match.
Fucking certainty, mate. Fucking pump the gypsy bus. He's getting a buck fast for the bus, right? Fucking soap dodging fucks.
Not gonna lie, this look like it's junk. Like this looks like a good time.
The police don't tend to let Rangers and Celtic play each other in the evenings anymore. They think the fans will drink all day and end up kicking each other's heads in. But
So they make them play in the morning.
for whatever reason, tonight they'd made an exception, and with everyone well oiled, it was time to get on the bus and head to the ground. And why should the party stop just because you're barreling down the motorway in storm weather?
Where do you think he going? You're not getting in. Okay. Well, at least y'all got women too. Everybody is lit. I'm talking drunk. Look at
After days of talking about it with everyone I'd met, I'd finally arrived at the derby. It was fucking freezing, and I could hear fragments of forbidden songs caught in the gale winds that were whipping off the earth. I made my way through the turnstiles to see if the atmosphere in an old firm game was so horrible and poisonous that the government absolutely needed to step in. The mood inside was tense, but not as vile as the media and the politicians would lead you to believe. Tonight, Celtics fans went home the happier after a 1-0 win. The club were back at the top of the table.
close game.
The Fenians had beaten the Huns.
Hopefully the Rangers just, go home in peace after this game and not wait outside. I've done so many hooligan reactions, man.
What is it about Glasgow that you think generates this kind of gang culture and this kind of tribalism?
It's hard to put your finger on. Glasgow's it's a crazy city at times. There's areas where you can't venture into. I think authorities have just turned a blind eye to it, basically.
Do you regret anything that you've done?
Too old to regret. You make your own bed, you've got to lie in it.
In Sandy Chugg's book, he says he identifies you as the top boy. At that time.
But no aware
and
of
he talks
that.
about the Rangers fans taking the Gallow Gate and stuff.
I've not read it yet, so
okay.
I will.
Have I told you what he said about you?
No.
When I pushed him, I backed him into a corner, and he said he'd be quite proud if you had grown up a Rangers fan and been a member of the ICF, because you're always a game lad, were his words.
But I'm going to get a tan. I'm going to get a fake tan like him.
He said he respects you and stuff, but he said that he's suspicious about where your tan comes from. He said you spend too much time on sunbeds.
He might be right. Yeah. I don't think John O'Kane's seen sunlight, never mind a sunbed. I hope he's keeping well.
There's people that there's a mutual respect between, but there's other people who don't have a respect. They've just got a hatred and they want to stab you and they want to kill you and they want to do things like that. If you do them, fair enough, that's what the buzz is about. It's not about inflicting pain and harm on people. it's a big game. Waking up in a machine that's going beep beep, and you know when it stops going beep, you're dead. You know, it's one of the scariest things that can ever happen to anybody.
Has that happened to you?
It's happened twice.
How does that affect people close to you?
It's hard to say. I think it did affect my dad quite a bit.
How about your own children and family?
Touch wood, they're good children at the moment, but I wouldn't want them to get involved in anything that I've been involved in. I want my kids to have a life that I didn't.
And how about your missus and or their mother?
Okay, she's... I don't know why I talk about that.
Okay. Pitched street battles between gangs of screaming men might be a thing of the past in Glasgow, but there was still the issue of the chanting. Would Scottish Parliament's new bill really be able to extinguish a loathing this deep-seated?
But if you look in the context of the whole stadium, overwhelming majority of people don't want to do it. They want to watch the football. Nil by mouth want to help the centre majority find their voice.
There's too many people here getting offended, looking for reasons to be offended. Whether they like it or no, religious, cultural, national divide will always be here in Scotland.
After spending so many hours in the company of people whose thoughts and feelings are dominated by their football clubs, it wasn't surprising to me that I found myself taking.
My bad. I seen the statue and I said, that's a fact. Football without the fans is nothing. Say any sport without fans is nothing. The sport would go bankrupt.
Aside. To me, it seemed patronising for people who weren't fans to take their words out of context, then insist that people should take offence to them. After the win on Derby Day, Celtics fans had celebrated as if Rangers would never be top dog again. I thought finality like that didn't exist in football, but a few weeks after the game, Rangers were forced into administration by an unpaid tax bill of £9 million. If they fail to find a rich white knight to rescue them from the financial mire, they'll die, taking the rivalry with them. Celtics fans haven't reacted to the news with much sensitivity. I saw this graffiti sprayed over the side of the Loudon bar and asked Joe Miller to explain it.
What was your immediate reaction when you heard the news that Rangers might be going bust?
Jelly and ice cream.
Yeah.
Was my immediate reaction.
Can you explain the jelly and ice cream thing for people that might not understand?
Well, a group of guys used to always say we're having a party when Thatcher dies, and then it kind of carried on jelly and ice cream when Thatcher died, and then we went a wee bit further and went, let's have it when Rangers die. So jelly and ice cream when Rangers die. Yeah. Pass the parcel when Rangers.
Y'all eat jelly and ice cream like together? Like, what do you mean jelly? Jelly, like peanut butter and jelly, like jelly and ice cream. That's disgusting.
All that kind of stuff.
Well, actually, that doesn't sound bad, actually. What kind of jelly?
Good natured.
What kind of ice cream?
Yeah, jelly and ice cream, that's quite appropriate for Celtic, isn't it? Well, everybody knows about the cover-up of the child abuse in the early 70s with Jock Stein and the directors, allegedly.
What would happen to this pub if Rangers went out of business?
I would think we would probably closely follow them.
Never mind.
If the club's dying and you're celebrating, it's like celebrating the death of somebody. You know, that's sick.
Man, football wouldn't even be the same for y'all if the rivalry was gone. Y'all capping that one out. Y'all might think right now, or as I'm watching it, they might have thought then, like, oh man, we'll be all right. That's good. But like, if that rivalry done, a lot of y'all would have nothing to do.
Sick, you know. But that's the nature of football fans here in Glasgow. Celtic need Rangers. They just think, okay, if Rangers are close, they can laugh at Rangers fans and think they'll win the league every season.
Exactly. He's not delusional when it comes to this.
But it'll kill Scottish football, you know. We need two clubs.
How has the kind of financial troubles that Rangers have found themselves in, how has that kind of affected the mood in the city?
Well, obviously one half's delighted, another half it's been like a death in the family. have a few close Celtic fan mates and a few acquaintances, and it's been relentless. It's been, really bad.
I mean, how big a hole would it leave in your own life if Rangers were to go to the wall?
A massive game.
I mean, the crosstown rivalry in Chicago with Sox and Cubs is pretty big as well, but I don't think it's like this, or it has ever been like this.
I've always grown up, I always think there'll always be a Rangers for my kids, for my grandkids. 140 years of history, we're not going to give that up all that easy. We will fight to the bitter death, but as we say, I'll follow, and I'm sure a great deal of many thousands will continue to follow as well. No surrender.
Would you miss them if they went bust?
Miss who?
Rangers.
Miss who? Loving Celtic doesn't mean anything about Rangers.
Yes, you would.
Nothing about Rangers. Loving Celtic only means loving Celtic.
So I would miss the Old Firm games.
The rivalry fuels y'all.
To me, that's the biggest game you can get. To me, without a Rangers-Celtic game, there's nothing in Scottish football.
It's like once LeBron retires, I don't even know if I'm going to watch any basketball anymore. Like, let's be real.
I went to Glasgow an outsider, and I still am an outsider. But I understand the rivalry enough to know that the cliched black and white idea people have of the Old Firm is just ridiculously wrong. There's no doubting that some pretty hateful things have been done in the name of the rivalry, but while it's still here, it certainly makes Glasgow life richer. Savage it may be, but it's become part of the city's humour. Fans here have spent so long trying to get under each other's skin that the rivalry is now embedded beneath the skin of the city. And Glasgow is a city with a very thick skin.
Once again, Vice, man. Vice 11 years ago was getting into the nitty-gritty of interviews and documentaries, but they couldn't get a lot of Rangers on here, but they had the Celtic side down lock, man. TLO, leave a like, comment. Let me know how your fandom going. I'm gone.